We're going to look at triangle inequality today. But first, let's start with the warm-up. What is the measure of angle OLE? So this angle right here with the question mark. Now think back to the different types of triangles we've been looking at. We know that if two triangles have the same side, it's called isosceles. And here, these two marks right here show that these two are the same side. That means 35 is the vertex angle, and it means that these two base angles are the same. So we're going to take what we know about triangles. There's 180 degrees, subtract the 35. That'll give us what's left over for these two angles, and then if we take that and divide it by 2, we'll figure out the angles. So let's calculate. 180 minus 35 is 145. So there's the first step. Now we're going to split that in half because angle L right here and angle S are the same. So we're going to take 145, divide by 2. And each of those angles is 72.5 degrees. And then we see that the angle in question that we want makes a straight line with this, and there's 180 degrees in a straight line. So step 3 is to take 180 minus 72.5, and we'll get the measure of angle OLE. So 180 minus 72.5 is 107.5 degrees. So we use properties of an isosceles triangle, the fact that there's 180 degrees in a triangle, and the fact that there's 180 degrees in a straight line, to find the missing angle. So today's goal, by the end of this lesson, you should be able to tell, number 1, if given any 3 side lengths, can they make a triangle? And number 2, where are the smallest, the middle, and the largest angles located in a triangle? So in class we do an investigation with spaghetti noodles where we break off different pieces of noodles. We figure out the sum of the 2 shorter pieces and determine can you make a triangle or not. And then we explain in words how will you know if the 3 lengths form a triangle. And so again, we do this in class. So I won't be able to show you the spaghetti noodle part. You could try it on your own if you'd like by breaking off spaghetti noodles of different lengths and seeing if they make a triangle. So if you have a piece that's 3, 4, and 5 centimeters long, the sum of the 2 shorter pieces is 3 plus 4 is 7. And this will be able to make a triangle. If you have piece 1 as 3 and piece 2 as 4, the sum of those is 7. And if the longest side is 10, that will not make a triangle. If the 2 smaller pieces are 4 and 5, that sum is 9. And piece 3 is 8, that will make a triangle. If the 2 smaller pieces are 4 and 5, that adds to 9. And if the side is 10, this will not make a triangle. If your sides are 5 and 8, that adds to 13. And if the longest side is 10, that will make a triangle. And if 3 and 5 are 8, and the longest side is 10, this will not make a triangle. So can you explain in words how you know if the 3 lengths will form a triangle or not? So again, it's easier to see with the spaghetti noodles, but let's go over the rules. If the sum means add, if the sum of the 2 smaller pieces are bigger than the biggest piece, and I should change pieces to sides. So let me erase pieces. Oops. Okay. So if the sum of the 2 smaller sides is bigger, not are bigger, one sum is bigger than the biggest side, you can make a triangle. So again, look, 3 and 4, that sum was 7, and that is bigger than 5, and so that will stretch to make a triangle. If they're smaller than or equal to it, will not. So let's do an example. Let's say we had a spaghetti noodle of 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter, and 2 centimeters. Will that form a triangle? And if you try to connect them, so the 1 and the 1, and then the 2, it's going to be too short. It's 2, 1, 1. It's going to be too short. It's not going to stretch. Think about breaking this piece of 2 centimeters in half to get a 1 and a 1, and then trying to make a triangle. It's going to be too short. So again, the 2 smaller pieces have to be bigger than the biggest piece, or the sides won't reach to make a triangle. So let's do some examples here. 3, 5, and 12 are the two smaller pieces. If I stick them here, let's say this was 3 centimeters and this was 5 centimeters, you can see it's not long enough to reach. So this will not, because 3 and 5 is not bigger than 12. How about 3 and 5 and 6? 3 plus 5 is 8. 8 is bigger than 6, so what that means is that'll reach and make your triangle. So again, you check the sum of the two smaller pieces. They have to be bigger than the biggest piece. The next one's 3, 5, and 8. 3 plus 5 is 8. So again, this would just be a little too short to make your triangle, so this would not work. So again, the two smaller pieces, the sum of those have to be bigger than the biggest piece, or otherwise it will not make a triangle. All right, investigation 2. Where are the smallest, the medium, and the largest angles located? So in class, we're going to measure the angles, measure the sides, and notice a pattern. But basically, in a triangle, the biggest side, so I'm going to say that A is the biggest side, and that's across from angle A. Oh, actually, angle A is, let's call this triangle A, B, C, and this is A, B, and C. So the corresponding side goes across from the corresponding angle. The biggest angle is across from the biggest side. The middle angle is across from the middle side, and the smallest angle is across from the smallest side. All right, so again, in a triangle, if one side is longer than another side, then the angle opposite the longer side is bigger. So again, the biggest side is across from the biggest angle, the middle side is across from the middle angle, and the small side is across from the smallest angle. So let's do two examples. In a triangle, there's 180 degrees, so if we take 180 minus 68 minus 55, this angle is 57. Let's put these in order from biggest to smallest. Let's try that again. Okay, so the biggest angle is 68, so C is the biggest side. The middle angle is 57, so B is the middle side, and the smallest side is the smallest angle is 55, so A is the smallest side. Okay, so again, you look at your different sides; they're across from the different angles. Okay, so this one right here, the biggest side is 28, it's across from A, so A is the biggest angle. The middle side is 17, and that's across from C, so C comes next, and then the middle side, or the smallest side, is across from B, so that is the smallest. So again, the two rules: to make a triangle, the two smaller sides have to add up to bigger than the biggest side, and the smallest angle will be across from the smallest side, the middle angle will be across from the middle side, and the largest angle will be across from the largest side.